All right, here is the video for the Algebra 2 Chapter 5 review. So first thing you're going to do, remember this whole thing is multiple choice. So your questions are going to be like that. But we've got negative exponent, so negative 1/4 power. That is going to make it 1/16 to the 1/4. And then remember, the fourth power would be the fourth root of, or the 1/4 power would be the fourth root of 16. So that's going to equal 1/2. 64 to the 2/3 is going to be the cube root of 64 squared. So the cube root of 64 is 4, and then 4 squared is 16. So then on your test, it's going to be like this, where you've got your multiple choice. That's going to become 1/625 to the 3/4. So we're going to do the fourth root of 625, which is 5, and then 5 cubed gives us 1/125. Number 4, we add the exponents together. So that's going to give us 5 to the 4/2, which is the same thing as 5 squared. 5 squared is 25. And then number 5, we've got 3 to the first power over 3 to the 1/5 power. We're going to subtract our exponents. 1 is the same thing as 5/5, so that's going to become 3 to the 4/5 power. And then our rule here for number 6, we're going to multiply 2/5 times, or 2/3 times 3, 5/6 is going to be 10/18, which is going to reduce down to 5/9. Radicals, we need to have the same radical with the same root there. So here we've got 5th root of 11. So once we've got that, we just add or subtract the numbers in front. So for 14, 3 times the 5th root of p plus 4 times the 5th root of p is going to be 7 times the 5th root of p. Before we can subtract this one, we have to reduce it. So 24, square root of 24 becomes 2 square root 6. So that is going to break down to the square root of 6. 16, we're just going to combine subtraction and addition now. So before we can combine anything, (45) is 9 and 5, so it's going to become 3 square root 5. Then we've got square root 5. So then 80, we can divide that by 5. That's going to be 16 and 5. Square root of 16 is 4. So we've got 3 square root 5 minus 1 square root 5 plus 4 square root 5 is going to give us 6 times the square root of 5. (17), we're taking out all of our perfect fourth roots. So the fourth root of 16 is 2. And then we're looking to see how many times 4 goes into 16 and how many times 4 goes into 8. So that's going to be t to the 4th power. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes into 8 2 times. So that reduces to 2 times t to the 4th times p squared. Next one, we're taking out our perfect cube. So the cube root of 125 is 5. 3 goes into 7 2 times. it's going to go into 9 3 times, and it's going to go into 4 1 time. But then now we have our leftovers. So it went into 7 twice, but we had 1 left over. And it went into 9 an even number of times, but it went into r to the 4th once with 1 r left over. So we'd have 5p squared q cubed r to the times the cube root of pr. Number 19, we can kind of use our clues here. So we've got the cube root of 8. That means we should have a 2 on the outside, so we can cross those out. Now we're going to look at 3 goes into 8 twice, 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 11 3 times. So that is going to be D for our answer. 7, we can multiply them together, so we got the square root of 36, which equals 6. Number 8, we can reduce that, so we'll have the square, or the 5th root of 1 over the 5th root of 32. So we can divide both of those by 4, and so then that's going to equal 1/2. 20 and 21 are going to be easier if we convert them to rational exponents. So we've got a to the 7/3 over a to the 3/3, which is going to become a to the 4/3. Same thing here, we've got 3 to the 12/5 over 3 to the 8/5. Subtract your exponents. 3 to the 4/5. We can do the same thing to this one as we did with number 7. So that's going to be the 4th root of 16, which is just 2. Simplify. So we're looking for our perfect square factor. We're going to have 16 and 3, so that's going to become 4 square root 3. This is going to be 27 and 2, so that's going to become 3 cube root 2. For 12, we're looking for our perfect cube factor. So 8 and 3, 8 is a perfect cube. So then that's going to reduce down to 2 times the cube root of 3. Rewrite that as x to the 9/4 over x to the 6/4. We've got x to the 3/4, so that's going to be a. With these, remember, try to simplify and reduce down or eliminate any answers we know are not right. Solving, we're going to square both sides. We're going to add 6 to both sides and then divide by 7. For number 24, we're going to divide by 4. Then we want to raise that to the 3 over 1 power, or just the 3rd power. So that's going to give us x equals 125. This one, we have to follow all of our steps. So add 10. Divide by 3. And so now we want to raise this to the reciprocal power. So we're going to raise it to the 4/3. So 27, we're going to take the cube root of that to the 4th power. Cube root of 27 is 3, and 3 to the 4th is 81. Move over to 29 here. Square both sides. So that's going to give us negative 3x plus 55 equals x squared minus 18x plus 81. So we've got to get everything on one side. We're going to have 0 equals x squared minus 15x. And then we've got 81 minus 55. We're going to figure out what multiplies to give us negative, or 26 that adds to give us negative 15. Two times 13, or negative 2 times negative 13 is 26. Negative 2 plus negative 13. So we get positive 2 and positive 13 as our solutions, but that's where we want to go back up here. We need to make sure we plug them in and everything works. If we plug in negative 2, we're going to get negative, or plug in 2, we're going to get negative 7 over there. So our answer is just going to be B. Remember that that is called an extraneous solution. We can skip 30 through 32. We're not going to do inverses. So let's solve this one again. We're going to add 18. (18 minus 6 is 12. We're going to divide by 4. And then we want to raise that to the 5th power. So our answer there is C. Also remember, with multiple choice, we can plug answers in if we have an equation and see which one works if you forget how to solve it. For 27, we've got the same exponent, which 1/3 power is just the same thing as cube root. So now we can set those equal. We're going to add 3x. We're going to subtract 10. Divide by 5, and we get x equals negative 3. Solve again. We're going to square just like we did previously. Foil that out. We're going to get x squared minus 18x plus 81. Get everything over to one side. We're going to subtract x, and we're going to subtract 3. So now we've got to figure out what multiplies to 77 and adds to negative 19. Oh, whoops. Sorry, not 77. We're going to subtract 33 there. I'm going to say something doesn't look right. There we go. It's got to multiply to 48 and add to negative 19. So that's going to be negative 3 and negative 16. Solve that, set those equal to 0. We get 3 and 16. We're going to plug those back in. And when we plug 3 back in here, we're going to get negative 6. But 16 is going to give us the right answer. So x just equals 16. 3 is another extraneous solution. For graphing, we've got cube root. So your graph here is going to look like that for the parent function. We're going to go right 4, up 2. So we're starting here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2, and it's going to look like that. Domain and range. Negative to positive infinity for domain, and negative and positive infinity for range. .35, we're going to graph again. This is going to be our square root function. This one's going to go down 2. So we're going to take our graph. And we're going to go down 2. So it's going to go right there. Shape doesn't change. It doesn't shift left or right. Domain is going to go from 0 to infinity. And our range is going to go from -2 to infinity. Graph here, this one is what the test is going to look like with the multiple choice. So it's going to go right 2. We can cross out B because that one goes, I'm sorry, not B, cross out A because that one goes left 2. Then we're going to go down 1. We can cross out B because that goes up 1. So now we're looking at just C and B. C is upside down, which means that would need a reflection. If we're looking at this, our A value is 1/2. There's no reflection, so that's not going to be the right answer, and D is going to be our correct answer. Function operations, we're going to take our 3 functions, 2x plus 3, x squared plus -4, and x plus 1. We're going to do what the operation states. So we're going to subtract g from f. Subtraction, we're going to flip our signs. We're going to change everything in the parentheses afterwards. So that's going to give us -x squared plus 2x plus 7. F times g. Now we have to multiply them together. So we're going to go 2x times x squared is going to be 2x cubed. Then we're going to go 3 times x squared. Then we're going to go 2x times -4. And finally, we're going to go 3 times -4. So we end up with 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 8x minus 12. F plus h, we're going to go 2x plus 3 plus x plus 1. Here we're just combining like terms, so we have 3x plus 4. For division, we're going to take 2x plus 3. We're going to divide x plus 1. That's as far as you can take that. We can't simplify it any further, but 42 is asking for the domain. So remember, we're looking to see what makes this denominator 0 because we can't divide by 0. So some of these, like this one, you can tell by looking at it, but if you can't, we can set that denominator equal to 0, solve for x. So it's going to be all real numbers except -1. h divided by g, we're going to do x plus 1 divided by 2x plus 3. So same thing here. This one's not as obvious, so we can do 2x plus 3 equals 0. Solve for x, we get negative 3 over 2. So your domain is going to be all real numbers except negative 3/2. And then the last one, we're plugging g into f. So we're going to take function g, and we're going to plug it into x here. So we've got 2x plus 3. And we're going to take x squared minus 4. We're going to plug it there. So now we can distribute 2x squared minus 8 plus 3, which gives us 2x squared minus 5. Now for, oh, I just realized I put the wrong function here. This one would be x squared minus 4 there. So that's going to actually give us a domain of all real except plus or minus 2, because that one we want to set x squared minus 4 equal to 0. Take the square root of both sides and we get plus or minus 2. So now we're going to take h. We're going to take h, which is this function. We're going to plug it into x. So we've got x squared minus 4. We're going to plug x plus 1 into that. So now we have to square. We're going to get x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then we're going to subtract 4 from that. And you get x squared plus 2x minus 3 once we simplify. All right, last problem. Similar type thing. We're going to take f of h of x. So we're going to take 2x plus 3, and we're going to plug x plus 1 in there. So x plus 1 is h. The 2x plus 3 is f. We can distribute. 2 plus 3 is 5, so we end up with 2x plus 5, which is D. So that's similar to the test. The test will be mostly, or it'll be all multiple choice. No inverse. Make sure you go through this, study, review, do the practice problems, and good luck. Last test of the year, and then it is the finals.